Hello everybody. I'm here to talk to you about a couple of sections in the Decision Point book, and you all were sent the link so you can watch the videos. This is 5.6 and 5.7. 5.6, the title is Bear Bait, and he talks about a couple of guys that go out hiking in the mountains and they encounter a bear. And you know, they always tell us that you shouldn't run away from a bear because you're not going to win. They're faster than us. You should curl up in a ball and act like you're dead. But these guys didn't do that. They took off running. And the one kid stopped a little ways away from the bear, and he got in his backpack and changed his shoes. And his friend said, "What are you doing? He's going to catch us. You're never going to outrun that bear." And his friend told him, "I don't have to outrun the bear, I just have to outrun you." So the whole theme behind this lesson is, are those the kind of friends that you have? Do you have friends that just use you to get the best out of whatever the situation is, and then they leave, they abandon you? And the other theme is that Jesus in the Bible teaches us about how it is to be a good friend to someone. He was friends with the disciples. He was friends to many people that he encountered. But he would never abandon them. As a matter of fact, he laid down his life for his friends so that they could have the lives that God intended for them. They talk also about a young person who has cancer and has been in the hospital quite a while for cancer and lost all of his hair, and it's time for him to get out of the hospital, and he's worried not about the cancer, he's worried about how his friends are going to think about him because he has no hair. So he's got these anxiety attacks going on, and his parents bring him home, and he walks in the door and there's all this screaming and people jumping out of everywhere, and it's all of his friends coming to welcome him home, and they have a big banner that says that. But his friends have all shaved their heads because they want him to know that they're in this with him. They're fighting this together. And that's the kind of friendship that Jesus has taught. And that's the kind of friends that we need to be, and the kind of friends that we need to look for. So you guys are at an age that it's super important that you be picking your friends wisely, and that you look for friends that aren't going to abandon you and outrun you so the bear will get you, that you're not bear bait for them. So just think about that carefully when choosing your friends. And then if you realize at some point in time that the friend that you chose is actually going to use you for bear bait in so many words, then you just need to let go of that friendship and move on to something else. So just remember, you want to be the kind of friend that Jesus taught you to be, and not be the kind that you would use your friends and then abandon them. Okay, the next lesson is 5.7, and I hope you watch the videos. This one especially is a tearjerker, and it's very appropriate for us right now. It's talking about, it was fictitious, of course, but it talks about an epidemic that hits in a couple of countries. And when the countries realize that this is an epidemic, it's not just something that a few people are going to get sick and get better. People are dying. There's no cure for it. You get the disease, you die. So it's very relative to what's going on with us, and the reason that I'm having to teach this online to you instead of being in the classroom in front of you. The countries closed their borders. They didn't let anybody in or anybody out. France started doing that because they didn't want the disease to come to France. And then guess what? Someone got the disease in France, in Paris, and died. And then England closed their borders. Same thing happened. Someone got the disease, they died. And so people started to freak out about, what if it comes to the United States? What's going to happen? So the president closes the borders. Nobody in, nobody out. And somebody gets the disease in New York, and they die. So researchers are working like crazy trying to find a cure for this, because that's the only way they're going to get rid of it. And so they're asking people to do their part and have their blood tested to see if they have the right type of blood that they would be able to make the vaccine for this, because they know what they're looking for now. So this family, man, woman, and child, go to the hospital, and it's the end of the day. There's a long line. They finally get in, and they're waiting, sitting waiting, and the doctors come out and tell them, well, they don't tell him anything. They just grab their son. They say, we think he's a match. You know, the parents are all upset, anxious. Why are you taking him? He's, you know, what are you doing? Well, we think he's a match. We need to do some more tests. So they take him back and they do some more tests, and they come out and everybody is ecstatic. They're so happy because the little boy's blood is the right type, and they are going to be able to use it to make a vaccine and save the world. And so they bring a form for the parents to sign, and the form is acknowledging that they're giving permission for their son to give blood. And there's a box that says how many pints of blood that they're going to be willing to give, and it's not filled out. And so the dad asks the doctor, and he says, how many pints? And the doctor's smile goes away, and he tells him, we're going to have it all. And so, of course, the parents are, what do you mean? You're going to kill my son if you take all of his blood. Can't you give him a transfusion? And they said it's not possible because there's not any clean blood. And you can, of course, think of what this is being related to. How do you think God must have felt knowing that his only son was going to be sacrificed to save us? To save all of us. These parents signed the form, and the doctor said, would you like to spend some time with your son and tell him goodbye? And of course they're just thinking, how am I going to do this? How am I going to tell him what's going to happen? I can't imagine. I guess as a parent, I was in tears when I watched this video, because I cannot even think of what I would do, how I would have the courage to let my child lose his or her life to save the world. But of course then you think of God, because that's exactly what he did. He gave his only begotten son to save our lives so that we can have the lives that we have now. So I really hope that you've actually already watched the video before you listen to this, but if you haven't, you need to really go back and watch this video, guys. All right, I'll see you next week. Have a good week.